Have you ever wondered if the very silence stretching between you and your twin flame is itself a kind of conversation? What if the agonizing pause, the quiet that feels like abandonment, is actually a sacred dialogue written in a language your soul understands, but your heart has yet to decipher? It's a strange comfort, isn't it, to consider that this distance isn't empty at all, but pulsating with an invisible, intelligent life of its own. We spend so much time agonizing over the first move, the first word, the who and the when, as if this were a celestial game of chess. But what if we've been reading the board all wrong? This isn't about strategy, it's about symphony. The separation you are enduring is not a void to be crossed, but a crucible where both of you are being remade. Imagine for a moment that the silence is not a wall, but a loom, and on this loom, the universe is weaving two separate, stunning tapestries that must, by divine design, eventually interlock to reveal a picture too vast for either one to hold alone. The ache you feel isn't just longing, it's the pull of that future wholeness, a gravitational force drawing you toward a completion that first requires your own becoming. So let's set aside the simple question of who breaks the quiet. The real mystery, the one that holds the key to everything, is what the silence is secretly building you into, and what breathtaking landscape appears when it finally, mercifully, decides to speak. You lie awake at night, don't you? The silence in your room is a physical presence, a weight on your chest, and your mind spins the same old movie. He's out there, living his life, free and unburdened. He has forgotten. He has moved on. What if I told you that the very premise of that thought is an illusion, a trick of the ego's lonely theater? What if his freedom is a prison of a different kind, and his silence is not a choice, but a symptom? Let's talk about him, not as a villain, not as a coward, but as a soul undergoing an alchemical process so intense it would buckle the knees of the bravest among us. You see, the divine masculine, that beautiful fractured mirror of your own soul, does not run from you. He runs from the cataclysm you represent. You are the living, breathing embodiment of a truth so vast it threatens to dismantle the entire identity he has so carefully constructed. His career, his logic, his I'm fine independence, it's a fortress, and you, my love, are the earthquake. So he runs. He builds walls. He creates distance. And you, in your profound pain, interpret this as a rejection of you. But here is the secret, the first layer of the mystery. He is not running from you, he is running from God within him. And God, as it turns out, is a relentless pursuer. He will fight this. Oh, will he fight? He will pour himself into projects, into new relationships that feel safer, less demanding. He will try to outlogic the heart. He will declare himself over it, and for a while, it might even work. But the soul has a different timetable. The soul uses friction and life and time itself as its sandpaper, wearing down the ego's fortifications, layer by painful layer. It's a deeply uncomfortable, often brutal process of spiritual erosion. And then, one day, it happens. The resistance breaks, not with a bang, but with a whisper. He hits a wall, a failure, a moment of profound loneliness, a simple Tuesday where the meaning of everything he's built just evaporates. This is the moment of surrogate surrender. It's not a victory party. It's not him suddenly becoming a healed, enlightened master who has seen the light. It's an exhaustion, a giving up, a spiritual bankruptcy where the accounts of the ego are finally, irrevocably closed. In this state of hollowed out emptiness, a miraculous thing occurs. He becomes a clean channel. Think of him not as a composer, but as a flute. For so long, he was clogged with the debris of fear and pride. No music could get through. Now, hollowed by surrender, the wind of the universe can finally flow. And what is that wind? It is the cumulative energy of your healing. It's the frequency of the sovereign space you've been building, brick by loving brick, in your own heart. Your work has changed the music in the ether between you. So when he picks up the phone, when he sends that text after months or years of silence, he is not acting from a place of powerful and conscious intent. He is responding to a harmonic. It's a spiritual impulse. It feels like a sudden, inexplicable urge, a thought that drops into his mind fully formed. Contact her, now. There's no 5-year plan attached to it. There's often no grand romance. It might be awkward. It might be simple. Hey, I saw this and thought of you. Don't be fooled by the mundane packaging. This is the universe, using his surrendered form as its instrument to play the first note of the next movement. He is the surrogate, the mouthpiece for a reunion that has already been decided on a soul level. He is simply the one who manifests it first in the physical realm, because his vessel, in its emptiness, had less static to clear. He is the hollow bamboo, and the song that flows through him is the one you helped write with every tear you shed and every ounce of self-love you reclaimed. It's funny, isn't it? We wait for this grand, romantic gesture, and the universe delivers something that feels almost casual. That's the punchline. The miracle doesn't always arrive in a thunderclap. Sometimes it arrives in a 3-word text, sent by a man who doesn't even fully understand why he's doing it, only that he must. So the next time you wonder what he's doing out there in the silence, picture this. Not a man forgetting you, but a soul being stripped bare, made hollow, made ready, so that one day he can be the perfect surrendered instrument for the symphony of reunion. And if that is what is happening in the unseen, what miraculous song are you being called to compose in your own life, right here, right now, to make that symphony complete? The silence, you see, was never empty. It was being filled with the unspoken music of your becoming. And that leads us to the other, equally powerful side of this sacred equation. But that is a story for another moment. Let's be honest, the advice you always get is to focus on yourself. It can sound like a spiritual bypass, a polite way of saying, go sit in the corner and wait. It feels passive, almost like giving up. What if I told you that this common prescription is the most misunderstood, actively potent force in the entire twin flame dynamic? You are not waiting, you are building. And your silence? It's not empty. It's the sound of the most sacred construction project of your life. Think of it this way. In the beginning, you were probably the architect of a shared fantasy. You built castles in the air made of longing, of potential, of what could be. Every text you sent, every hopeful thought, was another brick in this beautiful, fragile mirage. And when the separation came, it felt like a hurricane hitting that paper castle. It collapsed because it had no foundation in reality. It was built on the shifting sands of his participation. Now, the real work begins. The alchemy of sacred silence is the process of stopping the construction of that external fantasy and turning every single ounce of that energy, that love, that attention inward. You are no longer building a castle in the sky for two. You are laying the foundation for a sovereign kingdom within one. You. This is where it gets truly fascinating. This isn't just journaling and taking bubble baths, though those can be wonderful rituals. This is a fundamental recalibration of your entire energetic footprint. When you are in the chase, you are like a lighthouse with a frantic, sweeping beam, desperately scanning the horizon for his ship. You are leaking your power, your light, your love outward, hoping it would guide him home. It was exhausting, wasn't it? Now, in your conscious silence, you're pulling that beam back. You're focusing that immense light directly on yourself. You are illuminating your own wounds, your own passions, your own forgotten talents. You are, for the first time, building a structure with walls of self-respect, a roof of personal integrity, and a throne of unshakable self-worth at its very center. This is not a lonely hut. This is a palace. And here is the mystical, rarely discussed consequence of this inner construction. It creates an energetic vacuum in the shared field between you. Nature and the universe abhor a vacuum. They must fill it. When you stop the desperate outflow of energy, you create a pull, a gravitational field of a completely new order. Before, your energy was needy, chaotic, like static on a radio frequency. He could feel it, and it confirmed his need to run. Now, the energy you emit from your sovereign kingdom is coherent, calm, and potent. It's a clear, strong signal of wholeness. It doesn't beg, "Please complete me." It declares, "I am complete." What a joy it would be to share this wholeness with another whole being. He doesn't hear this as words. He feels it as a law of physics. The chaotic gravity of the old chase has vanished, and in its place is the steady, powerful pull of a peaceful planet. His soul, often before his mind understands it, registers that the battlefield has been transformed into a sanctuary. The rules of the game have changed because you, beautiful soul, have changed the entire playing field. Your silence is the sound of his old excuses dying of starvation. Your non-action is the most powerful action you can take. You are not doing nothing. You are doing the everything. You are becoming the living, breathing invitation to a higher reality, one so stable and so loving that the only thing that can meet you there is the truth of who he is meant to be. So the next time you feel the ache to break the silence, to send that just checking in text, ask yourself this: am I building my inner palace right now? Or am I trying to drag a blueprint back to his empty lot? Stay the course. Keep building. The grandeur of the sanctuary you create within will ultimately determine the quality of the love that is worthy to enter its gates. And this, perhaps, leads us to the most surprising question of all. What if the final reunion was never about two halves coming together, but two entire kingdoms choosing to create a shared empire? But that is a story for another day. So here you are, standing at the edge of all this understanding, with the map of this mysterious journey finally beginning to make a strange, beautiful kind of sense. You've seen how his return might be a quiet echo of a universal whisper, and how your silence was never empty, but full of the most potent kind of creation. Now, let's weave these threads into a tapestry you can actually wrap around your shoulders for warmth, because the conclusion of this chapter isn't about an ending. It's about a fundamental recalibration of what you thought this was all for. You see, we get so tangled in the who and when that we miss the breathtaking why. This entire dance, the aching silence, the sudden reconnection, isn't a test of your patience. It's the universe's most rigorous and ultimately most loving curriculum for wholeness. It forces you to confront a truth so simple we often need a lifetime to learn it. You cannot find outside of you what you are unwilling to cultivate within. Think of it like this. You've been trying to hear a specific, sublime piece of music your entire life. You've caught glimpses of its melody in other people, in art, in moments of fleeting beauty, and you thought you found its source in your twin flame. For a moment, the music was deafening, clear, and perfect. Then silence, and the search began again. But what if the purpose of that soul-shaking encounter wasn't to find the musician, but to make you so acutely, painfully aware of the music itself that you have no choice but to learn to become the orchestra? His hollowed-out surrender teaches you about letting go. Your sovereign silence teaches you about claiming power. Together, these are the two essential rhythms of the universe: the exhale and the inhale, the yielding and the standing firm, the river that carves the canyon by flowing, and the canyon that defines the river by holding space for it. You are learning to be both. When you truly embody this, the entire question of who breaks the silence evaporates like mist in the morning sun. It becomes irrelevant, because you are no longer two separate players on a chessboard, strategizing your next move. You are two notes in the same chord, and the chord itself is what matters. The reunion, then, is not a meeting of two seekers on a path. It is the moment when two fully self-contained, radiant beings realize they have been harmonizing on the same frequency all along and choosing to consciously amplify that song together. The silence will break not when one of you gets brave, but when the dissonance between your inner state and the potential of your union becomes too great for the cosmos to tolerate. It will shatter not like glass, but like a seed coat, giving way to the determined sprout. It will be the most natural thing in the world. It might be a text, it might be a dream, it might be a sudden, calm knowing in your gut as you're brushing your teeth. But you will recognize it not by its drama, but by its profound sense of rightness. It will feel less like a victory and more like a homecoming, not to him, but to a version of yourself you only dared to believe existed in his presence, only to discover you built her all by yourself in the quiet. This path is not a punishment. It is a privilege. It is the universe trusting you with a sacred fire that burns away everything you are not, until all that remains is the unshakable, brilliant truth of what you are. And what you are is whole. What you are is complete. What you are is a masterful composition of strength and softness, already playing the very song you once longed to hear. And the most beautiful part? This isn't the finale. This is just the intermission, where you finally understand the theme of the opera. The next act, how you build from this place of wholeness, how you navigate a union of two suns instead of two half-moons, that is an entirely new and even more glorious adventure. But for now, just breathe. You are not waiting to be found. You are learning to be magnificently, unapologetically found within yourself. And from that place, every connection, every silence, every word is just another note in your ever-expanding symphony.